from a certain corner. They shoot at me. I think the bullet passed, I don't know, just I felt like this.
Father Sebastiano Dambra's story and that of the Silsilah dialogue movement starts at a time of great unrest in southern Mindanao, Philippines. From his experience as a negotiator during the conflict arose the conviction to heal and unite through dialogue.
I said to myself, I have to do this to help people here, Muslim, Christian, to build trust, peace, confidence.
The search for a common spiritual ground where both Muslims and Christians could connect was both a wonder and a revelation to the local community.
In that meeting, I was surprised. There were Muslims and Christians together.
Father Sebastiano de Ambra, he wants that how Christian to become a better Christian and how Muslim to become a better Muslim.
He introduced what Silsilah dialogue movement is all about, and I've learned the spirituality behind the movement, and from there I got hooked.
From a humble hut to a vast center for dialogue that enriches thousands of people every year, the Silsilah dialogue movement has become a lasting instrument for peace in the Philippines.
I came from Sicily. My house was near the sea. The waves have some spiritual message. Sometimes I know the sea is very calm, sometimes it's rough. The sea can remind us that there is another horizon. We have to move from one horizon to another horizon. This is life. I never thought to reach to this age or this place or to do what I'm doing, but it's part of my understanding, of course, in my prayer, in my trust in the Lord, moving through one horizon to another horizon.
The first horizon Father Sebastiano Dambra encountered was to experience interreligious dialogue far away from his native Italy. After joining the Pontifical Institute for Foreign Missions, PIME, Father Sebastiano learned there were many negative perceptions of people from opposing religions which needed mending. He was assigned to the Philippines island of Mindanao, home to a large Muslim population, arriving there in February 1977.
In my first mission, it was Yocon, Zamboanga del Norte, in Mindanao. I start to give attention, first of all, to the Subanon. These are indigenous people. And after I saw the great need to be closer to the Muslim, at that time it was the MNLF war.
The country had fallen under martial law and the dictatorship of President Ferdinand Marcos. Human rights violations were increasing. Several PIME missionaries had been deported. The political situation was further complicated by a military conflict between the federal government and the Moro National Liberation Front, the MNLF, which sought independence. In the face of great violence and discrimination, Father Sebastiano became a bridge between opposing sides. He named his humble nipa hut in the village where he lived the Muslim Christian Brotherhood.
All the neighbors were Muslim, and children are always around with a lot of curiosity. And one day I was in the room just for moments of prayer. When I went out, one little girl said, "Father, what you have done inside?" And I said, "I was praying." And this girl is looking at me and say, "Father, also the Christian pray?" I was touched because poor girl, she has an understanding of the Christian, like the military, those who kill the Muslim. The immersion in the Muslim community was, first of all, a kind of personal transformation, I came up with this expression that became now a slogan, our motto, our point of reference. Dialogue starts from God and brings people back to God.
Thanks to the respect garnered from the Muslim community, Father Sebastiano was asked by the MNLF rebels to negotiate their surrender, for which the government would grant the rebels amnesty. This was a time of heavy military operations in different parts of Mindanao, resulting in major casualties from both the civilian and the armed groups. For more than a year, starting in August of 1979, Father Sebastiano met with rebel and military groups.
I said to myself, I have to do this. It was a time of crisis. I have to help people here, Muslim, Christian, to build trust, peace, confidence. One time I had a very big problem. The military in some way betrayed us and we were about to have an encounter. The commander, he said, Father, you go. And I said, no, I've been with you for 1 week. I want to stay here. He said, okay, Father, be sure that if they attack us, we will defend you. You will be the last to die, no? These words of a commander who had done so many things in that line of violence touched my heart. I said, look, in the deeper part of the heart of each person, there is always a corner of goodness. We have to reach to that level.
In 1981, Father Sebastiano's role as negotiator came to an abrupt end. An attempt was made on his life by the military, in which his close friend, Boy de Guzman, was killed. Afraid for his safety, the PIME mission superiors asked Father Sebastiano return to Italy. From 1981 to 1983, he deepened his knowledge of Islam at the Pontifical Institute for Arabic and Islamic Studies in Rome. Those years would prove providential to his future mission in the Philippines.
I could decide to stay in Italy and stop with this experience, but I was challenged to do more. For me, it was a kind of discovering because although I had a certain understanding of Islam, but not so much, I discovered that in Islam there are also these people who are considered the spiritual, the mystics, who have a deeper faith, and they talk about Silsilah means literally chain or link to their master and the master link to God. I said if each one of us are linked, we belong to the same family.
In this concept of Silsilah, Father Sebastiano found the spiritual foundation for interreligious dialogue. Upon his return to Zamboanga in 1983, he brought Muslim and Christian friends together in the spirit of one family. He wanted people of different religions to unite and experience together the love of God for all humanity.
In that meeting, I was surprised. There were Muslims and Christians together. And then he presented his idea of forming Muslims and Christians together and to call it Silsilah. People who will be together in promoting dialogue is the way to peace.
At that time, there was some effort, but normally just to do activity together, Muslim, Christian, I said, cannot be like this. A dialogue has to have a spiritual foundation. If not, along the way will end.
In May 1984, the Silsilah Dialogue movement was born. The group of friends, community leaders and those seeking peace met on a regular basis. the group eventually rented a space in Zamboanga City, wanting to become a visible presence in the community.
Our dialogue must be a dialogue with God, within ourselves, with others, and creation. So we put like 4 pillars of our spirituality, of life in dialogue, and people understood. I remember that some Christian or friends tried to say, but maybe this about spirituality, the Muslims do not understand so much. But I said no. In fact, the Muslim, of course, those who are open to this idea, understand well. They are open to a certain spiritual understanding of life in dialogue.
I found it very convincing, our being together with Father Diamra, because his mission and vision is like with us also. We are also advocating peace to the community in an Islamic way. This is also in the context of the Quran, to invite people to a common words. We are working together on how to create bridge toward relationship so that we can have harmonious living together with one another.
Inspired by their philosophy of love in action, several members of Silsilah ventured permanently into one of Zamboanga's poor neighborhoods. They wanted to have, as they called, a dialogue of life between the different faiths.
Why are you living with us? You are a Christian and we are a Muslim. And I explained about what is Silsilah, our vision and mission. And then I said, I love to know you, I love to know the culture, I love to know something more about Muslims. They were surprised because it was new to them. A Christian like me who is interested about them. I said, we may be different in faith and culture, but there must be something we can share together. They welcomed me. I mean, they were smiling because for them it was a strange reality. So I said, it is the first time for us to hear a Christian interested about us.
Tragedy would touch Silsilah unexpectedly in 1992. On May 20th, 1992, one of the key members of Silsilah and a PIME missionary, Father Salvatore Carzeda, was assassinated on his way home after a meeting. The event devastated the group and raised doubts about its continuity and safety.
It was in the evening, and for sure it was an ambush. It is not clear. Some say that I was the target. That was the biggest sad moment for me, for all of us, to the point that people want us to stop, say it's impossible.
The feeling that we lost someone in the family of Silsilah was very intense that time, no? To lose a friend, someone who inspires us. There were so many forms of discouragement that time, not only because he was killed, but even other people tried to discourage us to stop our work and activities. And then even trying to threat us like, if you will not stop joining Silsilah, you might be the next one to be killed.
At the time, we were not so strong. And thanks to God, we find the spiritual energy. And Minda said, no, Padre Salvatore, remind us padayon, no? Padayon means move on, no? And we said, okay, padayon. And I can say from that time on, Silsilah have been becoming stronger and more determined in many ways.